We are a Title I school just up the road where Rutledge Avenue meets the crosstown. And despite being in beautiful downtown Charleston, the vast majority of our kids currently live at or below the poverty line, which, as you can imagine, along with the everyday challenges of being a public educator in a post-COVID era, brings its own weight because our students are coming in every day carrying the weight of the challenges of growing up in poverty. By the age of 10, the vast majority of my students in my class have seen more traumatic events than I have to in my whole life. They're dealing with issues of loss and abandonment. They're dealing with food and housing insecurity. They're dealing with issues of gangs and violence and drugs and things that make it really hard to then come to school and learn how to read and write. A prime example of that, my first ever lesson I taught in Mitchell last year was a science lesson on the topic of sound. And the opening line of the curriculum said, "Teacher, ask your class what sounds do they hear day to day in their neighborhood? For example, doorbells." And the first hand that shot up in my class, and they said, "Gunshots." And if that isn't an example of what our kids are walking into school with, I don't know what is. But despite all these things, our kids at Mitchell are outstanding. They are bold, they are brave, they are fun and funny, they are so relational, incredibly loving. They teach me every day what it's like to have joy in the face of adversity. They teach me how to be abundantly and extravagantly generous when you have little to nothing, and just what it looks like to be loyal and show up for one another. And I am fully confident that they have the capability to become our city's next generation of amazing leaders and parents and workers. However, a lot of times it seems as though everything is working against them doing this. And that's why I'm so incredibly thankful for organizations like Charleston Hope who show up for these kids and their families and teachers like me every day. They, as a teacher over the past 2 years at Mitchell, I've gotten to be blessed by them in thousands of ways. They have provided every school supply I could ever imagine, including gallons of hand sanitizer during COVID. And they also provide us with the trainings and equipping that we need to lead these kids well. I remember a time last year, one of my girls came into school and she was just having a really rough day. There was stuff going on at home. Her classmates were not being exceptionally kind to her. And to top it all off, we were walking in the hallway and she had her hair in these two cute little puffs, and one of them just went whoop and popped all the way across the hallway. And we just had this moment. I looked at her, she looked at me, and I'm thinking, I don't know how to fix this. And of course, all the kids are laughing. It was a disaster. So I dropped the kids off at music and immediately ran to the Charleston Hope office and embarrassingly admitted that I have a master's degree in education and I did not know how to fix this beautiful little girl's black hair, you know? And within a week, I got an email from Charleston Hope inviting me to a training here at this office where they donated their time, expertise, and supplies to teach us how to do African American natural hair. And Miss Kate even donated her very own head for us to practice. So that's just one amazing example of how they have equipped me to love kids well. Beyond that, they've set up my classroom, they've provided snacks and donuts and coffee on days where you really don't want to show up, and they give every single one of our kids a Christmas gift each year, which if you've never seen joy, that is the perfect picture of it. Even more impressive than all of that things has been getting to see the impact that they have on our kids. They run a program called Step In, like you heard mentioned, and if I had $1 for every time my kids excitedly ask me, "Miss Finlay, is it okay to go to Step In?" or every time the boys begged me for a similar program, I could probably pay off my student loans. They love it. They come back into class after Step In and they are ready to go. They walk in with these profound statements like, "Miss Finlay, I'm beautiful, I'm loved, I can do hard things. What are we learning in science today?" Okay. And it's really, really, really sweet to see. They also provide the opportunity for our kids just to be kids and have fun. And they invited me on a field trip. They took some of our girls to a College of Charleston basketball game last year, and I remember standing on Meeting Street outside the TV arena, just kind of waiting for them to show up. And all of a sudden comes this bright pink, cotton candy colored bus down the street with our girls with the biggest smiles I've ever seen, excitedly waving out the window. And they were just truly feeling themselves that day. They walked off that bus with confidence, with camaraderie, with joy. They were getting along, they were communicating well, they were getting to be an integral and valuable part of their city. And I just think that any organization that is going to work to make my kids feel that special, it deserves the world. So I really can't put into words all that they've done to bless me and teachers like me and our school and our kids and our community, and I'm just so incredibly thankful. So thank you all, and thank you for listening.